Good morning, everybody. I'm Lisa Stone with Parenting Aces. I am broadcasting actually from my patio because my husband is inside in the office working this morning, so I got relegated to the backyard. Not too bad a place to be. And I am thrilled to have Trent Tucker and Matias Marin here with us from the Tucker Tennis Academy in Oklahoma. Good morning, guys.
Morning, Lisa.
Good morning, Lisa. How are you?
I'm great. It's so nice to have y'all here, and I am just thrilled that we were able to coordinate this. Trent, I know you and I have gone back and forth for the last, I don't know how long, trying to coordinate something, and it took COVID-19 to get us together. So it's not all bad, right? We found some.
We're happy to be here, even in this circumstance. Thanks for having us.
Sure. So the reason for having y'all on is really I am trying to not only help parents and kids, but also help coaches understand what they can and what they should be doing right now, not only to help their players and their families and their club members, but also to maintain a revenue stream so that they remain viable as tennis coaches once the country opens back up, the world opens back up, and we can get our players back out on court and our coaches back out on court. And I know you guys have been doing some stuff with your players, and I'd love for you just to share things that you've been doing, what's working, what you've had to tweak, et cetera, et cetera. So Trent, let's start with you. And
sure. Well, the state of Oklahoma shut down about April 1st, and they closed access, at least in our community in Tulsa, to all courts. So we really had to kind of brainstorm. Matias and I started sharing some articles that we liked with each other, and some YouTube videos and various things. And as we compiled this information, we thought, how can we put together some sort of program that could help kids enhance some areas maybe of their game that they don't normally spend as much time on, since we're not on court, whether that be the mental, or since there's no tournaments to prepare for, we can maybe dive into the fitness in a different level, because you don't have to periodize around a specific tournament schedule.
Right.
Or we could have them do a lot of visualization or some yoga and stretching. Maybe a lot of times kids just run out of time in the day, or it's not a priority. So anyways, we started kind of putting these ideas together, and we created kind of a 6-week template that Matias is really good at kind of doing the computer side. And he got all the links to the YouTube videos or the yoga classes, and he kind of put descriptions, challenges, contests, all these different categories, one for each day of the week. We charge a small fee, for the athletes. So for us to do all the work on the back end, and it's been a really well-received program, and it's giving kids some accountability, giving them something to do, some goals, and then we're hosting small group Zoom meetings with private coaches on our staff to keep them engaged as well, to kind of round it all out. So that's kind of in a nutshell what we launched.
Got it. And Matias, can you share with us like some of the resources that you're finding and things that the kids are really kind of glomming onto during this time?
Absolutely, yeah. Let me see if I do it right here.
While you're pulling that up, let me just say to those of you watching, if you have questions or comments, if you just type them in the comment box at the bottom of the page or the bottom of your screen here, we'll see those and we can address your questions or concerns during our chat. So type away. Oh, there you are. I've got it. So I just have to pull it in. Here we go. I've got new technology today, so bear with me. But hopefully everybody can see Matias's chart there. So Matias, you want to go over that and tell us what we're looking at?
Yes, a little bit like I mentioned, we try to figure out how to put kind of like a program to keep kids accountable and just not just random text or information out there. So our idea with all this is that let's prepare more on the mental, on the tennis side, maybe more on the tactical, and then on the fitness. I think more than just hitting the tennis ball, which is pretty hard to do these days. And there are not many tournaments coming up for at least another 60 days, or who knows how long it's going to take. So we split it into fitness, tennis, and mental toughness. That's what we call it. And so we put a fitness workout for every day from Monday to Saturday. And kids have to manage based on the age and the level what they can do. So we put something generic, including more running, a little bit of yoga, a little bit of on-court football with the racket, so they still feel like a player. We do a little bit of sprints, long distance runs, so anything that includes that, and not so much on the lifting side, since it's very specific to every kid, and we're trying to avoid any injuries, all that. So I think we kind of put this structure together, and it's been working great. I think parents are engaged and giving us feedback. We added 3 weekly calls. We have 35 kids doing this program. So as you can imagine, one Zoom call with 35 kids was not very productive the first day. So we split out into 4 groups now, and then we have coaches leading these small group sessions, discussions, and it's great. I think it keeps everybody engaged, coaches engaged, kids, and I think we're advancing on those areas. So when things open up, we can just be ready on these categories, at least, that many times we don't have time to honestly, when we're training, we don't have time to spend a lot of time on this. Kids want to hit tennis balls, so I think this has been great. And also our coaching staff has been awesome with submitting videos and stuff. Hey, what about this? What about that? So we're having weekly calls with the coaching staff, just reviewing this before we send it out. So
That's fantastic. Yeah, it's great.
And then we took it a step farther. We started with the full-time kids, and then we said, okay, we can extend this to the after-school kids. We have another big, large group of kids, and so coaches individually started offering to the after-school kids, and so we probably have about, I would say, 50 to 60 kids doing this. And then the primary coaches modify the fitness. They have one-on-one sessions for 30 minutes and all that, and we have the kids have to submit notes by the end of the week. So that's, I think, it's a challenge. Some of them do a pretty good job. Some of them they struggle a little bit, but I think that's how we keep them accountable. They have to watch a movie at the end of the week. It's just everything that's sports related, and that we can get a lot out of it.
I think that's great. And we've done something not this detailed, obviously, but on parentingaces.com, we have a list of COVID-19 tennis at home resources, and we've added, articles and videos and links. And as you guys know, USTA has been putting on a webinar every Monday at 3 Eastern time, at noon my time out here on the West Coast. And one of the things that was said in one of the early episodes was how important it is for kids to keep a racket in their hands during this time, even though they're not out on the court. And so it just feeds right into what you just said, Matias, about, you want the kids, if they're sitting watching matches on TV, sit there with the racket in their hand and they can shadow swing and emulate their favorite players, right? Absolutely.
And you can see here, we use a lot of the resources from many places. USTA has a lot of information on their website, and we extract articles from there and podcasts and a lot of stuff that we continue to promote. So I think all that stuff has become very, very useful these days. And from those webinars, we have our coaches participating on those and just coming out with new ideas and what can we do to keep the kids engaged in these moments.
Yeah, no, it's great. Trent, one of the things we were talking about before we went on air here was the fact that we don't know what's going to happen this summer with junior competition, with the qualifying events, with the sectional events, with the national events. USTA issued a new statement yesterday on opening up and getting back on the courts and how to do that. And it was very, it talked a lot about injury prevention and making sure that you're maintaining fitness and that you go slowly as you come back to avoid injury and all of that. They had a document not only for players, but also for facilities to follow so that when clubs and courts and academies do reopen, they make sure they're doing so in a sanitary, safe manner for everybody, for the employees, the kids, everybody that's going to be there. So I'm curious what your thoughts are. And let me just say, even though USTA did issue this statement yesterday, they also re-emphasized the fact that no USTA sanctioned events are happening yet. Even though some states may be reopening, USTA has not started offering competitive events, leagues, anything yet. So what are you hearing behind the scenes, and what are you doing just in case these big tournaments do come back to prepare your kids? I mean, obviously, all the stuff Matias just talked about, and that's all great, but that doesn't help kids have stamina and fitness and match toughness and all those things that are important, especially at a big event.
No, I mean, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns at this point. To kind of answer your first question, or what are some of the things maybe that I'm hearing, and some of my thoughts are, first is, you know, it's possible that you hear rumors that, you know, football may not happen until next spring, you know, and there may be nothing until 2021, and you hear all these things. It's possible that we may move to a local tournament system for the summer, or maybe, you know, we might host a lot of in-house UTR events, or kind of local to maybe 2, 3, 4 states. You know, whoever wants to drive in, you know, something like that. You know, I could see the landscape changing to reduce all the plane flights a bit and the hotel needs, maybe one-day events. You know, a lot of shortened format things that people may come up with. I don't know exactly what the powers that be at the USTA are going to come up with, but it's going to be a very complicated decision when some, like Northern California, is not returning to competitive play at all this summer. And they've made that clear. So how do they qualify someone into Kalamazoo if Kalamazoo is hosted? You know, do you go off a rating system, you know, like a UTR, or do you go off a previous 2020 ranking for someone in August? It gets very complex, and then maybe another section has a sectional in June, you know, and then so it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Matias and I are planning on our end here locally to probably emphasize private lessons, maybe semi-private lessons outdoors, because, you know, we're fortunate, you know, I mean, it's, you know, we've got a nice court layout here, a lot of courts, so we may set up some structure like that. We'll probably change out tennis balls often. Our club owners have done a really great job in bringing in a medical grade spraying for all kinds of, you know, surface areas, and we're not opposed to doing that on the tennis balls as well. So we're going to be really proactive, but I think the complicated part is, how do you prepare an athlete, like you say, for match play, you know, for tournament competitive play, right? When you have such limited opportunities. So, you know, Matias and I are going to kind of take this one step at a time. What our opportunities, you know, presented to us. For example, if it's say, you know, let's say we can actually get out and have, you know, group drills. Does that mean we're really going to go for that? We may still keep it at 1 or 2 to, you know, 2 players to a coach. But in that scenario, you can have those 2 players play sets, you know. So we're going to try to be conservative but smart in our approach, but also, you know, be creative. I mean, we're going to have to come up with solutions, because kids are chomping at the bit. Parents have antsy kids at home who love tennis. I mean, it's not an easy situation, but, you know, I think the USTA is probably going to, my gut tells me it's going to get localized a lot more in the next few months, just due to the fear of travel and hotels and large groups congregating. Tournament desks may change, shaking hands, doubles, all those things may get modified to some degree, at least for the next 3-4 months.
Yeah. So just quickly, Wendy just commented and asked, when do you think Tucker Tennis Academy will reopen?
You know, we're really going to follow the guidelines of our mayor, and the governor is, you know, has made announcements that clubs and different facilities can open May 1st. Our mayor should be making an announcement today. It's possible that the club may be open on some level May 1st, depending if the mayor comes out in the next day or so. It could be as May 15th, and we'll be updating our Facebook, Instagram, all those things as well. But I think pretty soon the club will be open, but under strict protocols, you know, total number of people in the club, and, you know, outdoor tennis and all these different types of, you know, it's a good time. We're resurfacing all the indoor courts, so we can't go indoors for a few more weeks anyways. But, you know, it's, you know, I think for sure sometime in May you're going to see Tucker Tennis operating. I just don't know exactly how that's going to look.
And this was something that we were doing before we closed. We already were like for 10 days on lessons only. We didn't have nothing. So the class being kind of close to large groups for a while now, and just being on the caution side and all that. And then going back to the question before, I think, yeah, it's stressful for the kids, the match play and all that, but everybody else in the world is under the same. You can play matches, but when the tournaments are not happening, so it's gonna be probably rusty for everybody coming back the first couple of tournaments. But if you're fit and if you're mentally in a good place, you can make a huge impact as soon as you get back on the tournament side.
I want to add one more thing. One thing we started doing, I don't know, a few months back, maybe November, we started taking videos of our players' full matches, sending them to Tennis Analytics, and that the company that does that, Warren Pretorius, the group that does the editing, and they've been editing our matches. We've been going over those matches with kids, and this has been a great opportunity to review patterns and how you actually play a match. And again, that's something you don't have time for a lot of times. So we've had coaches assign a primary coach a particular match to a couple of players. Say, let's go back and review this. What worked, what didn't work. And the Tennis Analytics has so much data, right? And it's hard to digest and break that down. So this has been a little bit of an opportunity for us to take a step back and regroup and sit down with players and say, what are your best patterns? How are we going to come out of this, on the other end with maybe a better, game style or some enhancements. So in a way, yes, this is tragic, but it's actually given, I think, some of our players a refreshing look at the way they play matches via some of these tools that we had in place. And it's really given us a chance to go deeper into it.
Yeah.
Are y'all charging for that service?
We do. So if you're not in the full-time program, you can pay by the match. And if you're in the full-time, we just did kind of a semester supplemental, and you get 5 matches, guaranteed. And if you want more, you can supplement and pay for those. And really, for us, it's not a profit margin opportunity. It's really about just how can we cover this so we can get this service to our kids, because it is a huge tool that if you hang a camera on a court, no kid's going to watch the 2 hours of all the in-between stuff, and you don't get the reports. It's kind of ugly, but this is so nice in how it's all trimmed and organized, and you get great printouts. For us, it's an ability to drill down very quickly on an area of focus for a kid's game style. And so this has been a nice tool we've used for most of 2019, 2020.
Well, and it's a way for you guys to provide value to the families that come to Tucker Tennis Academy, to make sure that you maintain some sort of revenue stream during this shutdown, and that the kids are also getting a benefit from that. And I think that's been kind of the challenge for a lot of coaches and academies out there is, we can't play tennis, but we got to figure out another way to show our members and our families that we are of value for them, and that they need to, do something to continue our revenue so that we're here for them when things open back up. And I think it's great that y'all are using all of these different tools. One question I have, given that, we're finding how valuable all this stuff is, and listen, we've been talking about this for years, how it would be great if coaches would sit down with players and watch match video and do, analytics with them and do all of these different exercises that you guys have put into place during the shutdown. How do we make sure that these valuable pieces of junior tennis development continue once we're back to, business as usual?
I think that's a great question. I'm going to let Matias talk about that in a second. I want to throw one little thing at you, though, is I think that coaches and parents need to realize that, volume of balls is important, but having a purpose behind that volume and having a clear direction is maybe even more important. And so for us, it's not about 6 hours or 8 hours of busy work of hitting tennis balls all day, but are those 2 hours that you're hitting tennis balls, are you enhancing in areas of focus that are defined? Are you enhancing a game style that's been predetermined and agreed upon? I mean, if that's happening, then you're that. And so for me, it makes a whole lot more sense to carve out 30, 45 minutes of the day to go over something if the player then can go spend an hour, not 3 hours, but an hour working on that intensely, it's a lot more benefit. And Matias, also, maybe we talk about Jim Shaughnessy in the 3D. Maybe you can show one of those videos after you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think it's just, we discussed with coaches a lot, like in this time and the things we're doing, that there are things that we haven't been doing and we're going to start doing later. When we go back full, it's like, not because we're shut down, we do this and then we stop. A lot of the things what we're doing, we're realizing that this makes a lot of sense, that we need to spend more time. And like Trent said, not like just hitting tennis ball. And kids are like super engaged. They're like, oh, I didn't know I was doing this on the court, or my body language, or my core positioning. And they have access to these matches every day. So on their profile, so they can go back and Trent said that the amount of information that is there is unbelievable. So it's like you can go hours and hours and hours. So I think it's important. So yeah, let me look at that video that Trent said, because the idea of this started like we're trying to cover all the areas of the tennis player, from the tactical, the technical, the mental. So we were pretty good in the technical. We have Jim Shaughnessy doing all our 3D work and technical analysis and all that. So which was great. And then we're lacking a little bit of the tactical and all that. So that was the compliment that we added. But let me see. Let me look. Give me a minute to look on the video.
Okay.
Lisa, have you ever seen our 3D motion analysis?
No.
So we have the preeminent world's expert full-time on our staff. I don't know if you know Jim Shaughnessy. He's spoken at a lot of large conferences, but
I know his name. Yeah.
He is a true master, and he has these reports that he makes, and we build these into our program, and you can also buy them supplemental. And he will basically do a stroke analysis and compare it to a professional, college, or other junior player stroke analysis in 3D, and it's live match play. Whereas some academies do it maybe where you strap on some sensors and it's a shadow swing. This is, you're hitting the ball in live match play, and the person you're being compared to is also hitting the ball in live match play.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so the comparison is truly accurate, and this is kind of, I think this was one of our defining differences as a program. And then, like Matias said, adding in the tennis analytics of the match play, now we have the technical and the tactical, so we can say, here's a great way to swing the racket and all the deficiencies and opportunities, and here's the strength training you do to fix that, and then here's how to play the game. So Matias can pull one of these up, but it's really, if you haven't ever seen it, it's really cool. And to be honest, a lot of people take these videos, I'll put them up on Instagram, and they'll get circulated everywhere. And they're because have you ever seen those stick figures, the 3D models?
Yeah.
Jim is the master of creating these models and of analyzing them. He's really the best I've ever seen. And I can share more with you offline.
Yeah. Let's see, if I play a video, will I share a video? Let's see.
If this
if
works,
we can pull it up. Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Right.
We'll see. Like I said, this is new technology for me too. So,
okay. All right, it's coming right there. Let's see.
There we go. Okay, hang on. I have to just pull it in. All right. There we are. Wow.
So what?
Jim, it takes a lot of time to do these videos. I mean, how many hours? Like.
So a serve takes about 20 hours of his man hours of work of his expertise, and then a ground stroke's around 14 hours. And it's of work, and then he prepares these reports. He shares them with primary coach, parents, the player, and the beautiful part is he has voiceover on these, and the voiceover is really, he goes through the numbers data, which is being highlighted on the right side of the page, and he'll say, and he'll give you just a really simple kind of 3 areas to fix. He'll say, if you can get stronger in your upward velocity, doing this exercise, you can increase your serve speed by 10 miles an hour. He gives you this beautiful summary. Here's a player, Declan Gallagher's maybe a blue chip 14s, a good player that trains in our full time. And then he compares you to a player that has a similar motion to your motion. In this case, it's a serve. And it's a first serve, and then the primary coach can say, hey, let's take a look at the backhand slice and compare that to Federer. And it's funny, there's been a lot of coaches who have argued with me about, hey, this is how you're supposed to hit a slice, and this is how you're supposed to hit a serve. And I said, you may be right, but let's look at the data, because the truth is irrefutable when you look at what really happens, and you have a large pool of people that do it. And it's so funny to watch coaches come back and say, okay, I thought I was right for 25 years. One of my best friends in tennis is Brian Smith, and he brought in Indianapolis, and he brought Nishesh Basfaridi, who won the Orange Bowl, over, and his brother, and they came in and did some video work, and Brian said, man, this has really helped me clear up some maybe misconceptions I had about the game. And I have to be honest, I had a lot of problems with maybe the way I was coaching, because I thought it was correct until Jim opened my eyes with data. And I think this is the future of teaching tennis from a technical standpoint.
Yeah.
is quantitative. It's visual. Kids love the visual. They love kind of the almost video game aspect of it. They love that also that it's something that you can measure. And I'm not saying everybody has to hit the ball the same way, but there are certain parameters that make sense biomechanically to reduce injury, to help you, produce the most force, the most spin. And we're just trying to give our players, a little bit of an edge by giving them this information.
Lindsay just posted Jim Shaughnessy's Instagram. It's at repo_code. That's REPO_CODE. So for people that want to follow him on Instagram and see more of this analytical 3D modeling,
he posts all the videos are on the Instagram at Tucker Tennis as well.
Okay.
He has full access to that account, so he posts on there as well, and actually maybe more. So you're welcome to follow either account. You'll get great information.
Or both.
Jim, and both. And you can send Jim a direct message and ask him questions. He truly is a wizard.
Oh yeah, Lindsay just posted at Tucker Tennis too. Thank you, Lindsay. And we're at Parenting Aces, so and we're not posting Jim's video, but we're posting other stuff. And
well, you can post some if you ask him.
Yeah, we'll cross post. Oh, we're getting ready to have a bark fest here. Hang on, I'm gonna mute for a second. Y'all talk.
All right. All right. Well, Matias, something I think we can do. Can you show a tennis analytics report?
I can look, yeah. Let me close this.
Sorry, guys. My dog and the dog next door have this thing going on where they meet at the fence and bark relentlessly until one of them walks away.
I think Matias, no problem. I think Matias is going to pull up one of our tennis analytics reports.
Oh, cool. Okay.
One's never seen one. It's a pretty cool report. Maybe he can grab one real quick and put it up on the shared screen.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. That's Louie next door. That is not my dog. Sully is sitting next to me for the moment, quiet. We'll see. So guys, I'm just on a personal note. You guys are healthy, well, your families and loved ones are healthy and well.
Yeah. I have a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old at home.
Oh, goodness.
So, needless to say, this has been a new challenge in my wife and I's journey as parents and as a couple.
Yeah. It's funny. I've shared on other streams, at the beginning of all this, my husband and I kept saying, oh, thank God our children are grown and living on their own. Can you imagine being, quarantined with 3 kids in the house? But now, not having seen them, and we moved to Southern California to be closer to all of them, it's really sad. So there's 2 sides to it,
I think Matias made some comments. This has been, I'll let maybe you say it's been some great time for you and your kids.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a almost 4-year-old boy and almost a 6-year-old girl. And like we talked before, the girl has a diabetes type 1, so we're extremely careful on the cautious of this, and she's a little more exposed to the virus and everything. But for us, we spend a lot of hours on the club, on the road, and all that, and it's I feel that they're like in paradise. They have mom and dad at home all day long, and it's been great. And adjustment like everybody else, dealing with the school, my wife, Georgie, who also works at the club, and just learning new things. But it's been, on the good side of all these issues, I think it's been great for the family. Absolutely. So I think I can share now. Let's see.
Okay. Let's see if we can get it pulled up.
I can get it pulled up. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Yeah, we're trying to get it up there. So any of y'all watching, if you have other questions for Trent or Matias, please go ahead and type them in the comments, and we're seeing those in real time and happy to address them. I don't know how much more time you guys have, but while Matias is pulling that up, I also want to say that I'm doing another Facebook Live at 12:30 Pacific time, 3:30 Eastern today with Coach Turhan Bernay, who's in Atlanta, and he runs the One Love Tennis website and company, and they put on gobs and gobs and gobs and gobs of junior tennis tournaments every year. So we're going to be talking with Turhan about what's happening from the tournament director standpoint during all this mess. And so that again is at 12:30 Pacific, 3:30 Eastern. Matias, we've got your report up.
So this is a one-page summary, but there are like another 10 pages below this one. And this is what tennis analytics do and we get for the kids. So it has a lot of information from percentages and shot tolerance and all that, and errors and winners and all that. And then it goes into detail of these categories. And then you can pull out the video of the match and filter by saying, look, let's see how did I play those deuce points. Let's see only me serving. How was my service? And so you can, like Trent said before, you can look for the areas of focus that you're looking on the player and pretty quickly extract the information without having to watch the whole match. So something that might take you 2 hours and you got to dig here in 5-10 minutes, you can get a pretty good clip of a lot of points. And it gives you percentages right here, which is, is very, very valuable for me, especially as the kids get older, when the game gets a little more physical and tactical and technique is, it is what you have, and you can improve it a tiny bit, but I think you can improve the way you play the game. And it's something that I think in the juniors there's a big gap as they get older, who understand the games. And I think Europeans do an amazing job of this. They're like, they know the game, they know how to play, and they know their game style. And I think we struggle a little more on those categories. So I think it's been helpful for kids. And again, it's graphic, it's video, so it doesn't take a lot of time. And these days, it's pretty hard to get the attention of the kid for more than an hour if you need to do all this. So here in 30 minutes, we'll do a review and boom, and they got it.
Lisa, one thing Matias maybe didn't mention yet is that we do, like a 30-minute assignment of the coach with a particular match, and we charge for that. So it's an opportunity for the coaches also, from a business standpoint, to get off the court and to, some of these coaches are working 10, 12 hours in the court. So it's a really nice break for them to step off of the court, spend a little bit of time at the computer with the players, connect with them in a different way, and to invest in them in a different way. They can make a little money off the court, so you're not just always feeding balls and watching drills and doing those things. So we found that we're trying to broaden kind of the revenue streams, but also keep our coaches mentally and physically a little bit more healthy by giving them some other avenues to pursue. Because you talk to any coach out there 10, 12 hours a day, or in Oklahoma, in the summer, you're done. So this is another opportunity.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love this. I think you guys are really thinking outside the box, and obviously have been for quite some time. It seems that you had a lot of things in place already to make this shutdown not have such a huge impact on your players, but also your business model. And I think that's just amazing. And I think that a lot of coaches need to do a better job of that, of making sure they have a way to generate income if they can't be physically on a tennis court with their players. And, what you guys have put in place is just awesome.
Yeah. And I think one thing to highlight is, like, we have an owner that supports all this. Without that support, it would be pretty hard. So I think the opportunity that we have to create all this and put it in place, it comes with a great organization. I think we're lucky to have what we have.
Well, it definitely takes a partnership, and whether the coach is renting space from a facility or part of an established tennis program already at a club, or just using public courts, there's no reason that coaches can't implement all of these off-court and virtual types of interactions with their players to continue to generate revenue and to continue to provide value to the families, so that the families are incentivized to continue paying for the services. And
Absolutely, yeah.
That's what we've been kind of talking about since this whole lockdown started is, from the parent side, everybody's impacted, right? Even if you haven't been laid off or you haven't had to take a salary cut, there's some impact to your life right now. And junior tennis may not be at the top of everybody's priority list in terms of what to be paying for. And so from the tennis side, the onus is on the coaches and academies and club owners to provide some sort of value so that the families do prioritize tennis, or at least put it somewhere near the top, and those bills continue to get paid.
100%. I think every tennis coach during this time should take a step back and reevaluate, are they just a human ball machine, or are they, able to diversify their offerings? Are they able to, get creative in the way that they approach player development, but also their business, so they can weather storms, they can deal with economic downturns and all these different things. I mean, Matias and I are just always trying to kind of push the envelope a little bit on how we can kind of tick both those boxes, enhance player development, but also, whether it's grow this business and, and make sure our club can stay open, and we're trying to add more courts and all those things, so it's always that balance, doing the best you can for your clients and your kids and the families, but also make sure the private tennis club business, which is what we're in, can thrive. I mean, that's not a lot of private tennis clubs making a lot of profit in the country. It's not an easy business. So we're always trying to straddle that balance.
Well, I think y'all are doing a great job, and I really appreciate you coming on. I don't know if you have anything else you want to talk about before we sign off. I told you I wouldn't keep you too terribly long, but
we appreciate it. And it's great to get on with you, and hopefully we'll see you in person at a big event someday down the road, right?
That'd be awesome.
So, well,
yeah.
If anyone has follow-up questions or wants access to anything that we can help them with, don't hesitate to share our contact information.
Okay, great. And again, if you have questions or comments, you can post a comment on this live stream, and we'll see that. And this is being streamed to the Tucker Tennis Academy Facebook page too. So Trent and his crew will see whatever you type as well and can address that. What is the best way to get in touch with y'all?
Well, I mean, a direct message or instant message on Instagram, Facebook, email. Our website is just tuckertennis.com, has an info@tuckertennis.com email, and it comes to Matias, myself, and another person in admin. So it's there's a lot of ways to grab us, and we're very responsive, and we try to help anybody and everybody. For example, we've been interfacing with the guys at JTCC before this all broke. We've been talking to guys at the other regional training centers, coaches at USTA. We've been talking with people in the section. I mean, at this point, it's a come together mindset, right?
Yeah.
We all have to work together.
As we're seeing on the Pro Tour, the ATP and the WTA are talking about merging. Holy cow.
I mean, the reality is that tennis needs to survive and grow, and we all have to help each other. And if you have an isolation mindset, it's just not going to work. So anyways, Matias and I are super accessible, whether it's coaches, parents, players want to talk to us. We're here.
Awesome. And I have to just tell you, when I posted on Twitter about our live stream today, Mark Lucero immediately commented and said, Trent Tucker teaches the best two-handed backhand in the world. So there you go. If your kid needs help with the two-hander, Trent's your guy.
Wow, that is too kind coming from one of the best coaches there is.
Well, there you go. You guys stay safe, enjoy being with your kids, don't kill each other, and I will look forward to checking back in with y'all, hopefully in person, but if this craziness continues much longer, we'll have to do another one of these.
That's right. Well, we hope that we can get past all this in the coming months.
Absolutely. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see y'all back here at 12:30. Bye-bye.
Thanks.